My name is Noelle VanHendrick. I am a mother, a potter, a poet, an artist, a musician, a singer, a dancer, a yogi, a human being. So here I am. I'm going to do my best to tell this story. It takes place in a little village named Scrabble in West Virginia about 8 years ago. I hooked up with this great midwife from Pennsylvania who is the midwife of the Mennonites, and she agreed to come to West Virginia and help me in the birth of my son. It was actually illegal to have home births in West Virginia. It started in the morning. I'm starting to feel a little funny, so I'm supposed to teach a pottery class because I'm a potter. And I call my friend, who is my student, and I tell her that, it's not a good idea to have class. I'm feeling a little funny. I think I just want to go for a walk in the forest. And she's like, no, Noelle, you can't take a walk in the forest by yourself if you're feeling funny and you're 9 months pregnant. She's a prosecutor, so I usually listen to her advice. So I call the midwife. I'm like, I'm feeling kind of funny. So we had an appointment at noon. This was probably about 9 o'clock in the morning. She's like, oh, I'll just be there for the noon appointment. My husband comes in and it's breakfast, and I'm like, picking up my 20-month-old and like putting him in the height chair and taking him down, and I'm like feeling funnier and funnier by the moment. And he's like, I gotta go get the car inspected. And I was like, really? You have to go get the car inspected? Honey, I'm feeling funny. And he's like, well, then it's really important that I go get the car inspected like right now if you're feeling funny. I'm just like, go, just go. So I call my mom, and my mom's about 3 hours away. She had been planning to come to the birth. She's like, all right, I'm on my way. I call two of my lovely ladies too, who will be joining me for the birth. They're about an hour and a half away, 2 hours away. So they get started too. A friend of mine calls named Farzad. And he's like, so what's going on? I was like, oh, I'm kind of feeling funny. And he's like, well, do you want me to come over? And you have to understand that we were homeschooling. So all of a sudden, I just kind of like imagined this like homeschooling field trip to my house of like a birth and like all of these kids. I'm like, actually, Farzad, I'm really not having people over right now. So I hang up the phone. Things are starting to escalate. The really only thing that I can do in the middle of these contractions is clean. I have my 5-year-old at home. He's sitting at the kitchen table, periodically giving me spoonfuls of vitamins, just like, Mom, I think you need this. My water breaks. My mom calls. I answer the phone. I'm like, Mom, my water breaks. I really gotta go. And hang up the phone. So she calls my husband. My mom's like, you gotta get home right now. What are you doing? And he's like, well, my car is up on a lift and it's got no tires. I'll get home as soon as possible. Things are starting to really, really come on now. And I stop answering the phone. I'm starting to go into chanting, Aum, Aum, and the house is starting to sway and things are starting to vibrate, and my son is still, giving me vitamins. My husband finally pulls in, walks in, is like, it sounds like Mama's having a baby. So he starts to bake muffins, right? Like any good husband would do, that just left his wife home alone, birthing in labor for their third child. So there's this like little tiny bathroom at the side of this little farmhouse, just enough room to really have like a bathtub, a toilet, and a sink. And like even when you open up the door, it's still like kind of almost hits the sink. And I'm thinking, I just gotta get somewhere where I can have this baby and not make it a big deal to clean up. Like that's what I'm thinking. So we put on like old school Wham Bam Batman in the family room to kind of like give some distraction, because my 20-month-old is starting to get a little on edge. Mom is like chanting and things are happening here. So I'm in the bathtub grabbing for the baby, and my midwife arrives at noon. She cramps herself into this little bathroom, and she's like, wow, it's feeling pretty chill in here. Well, I'm glad you think so. I'm pushing. I just start to push. And amazingly, like, call it sunny side up, facing me, my son, catch him, pull him right out, look at him, and it's something that you can't even articulate with words. He is white as like a piece of paper. I mean, he's not blue or purple, he is white. And my midwife is like, he's covered in this like really thick coat of vernix. Oh my God, that's the best eye cream ever. Come on, you gotta put it on your eyes and like your crow's feet and underneath your eyes and your neck. It's the best. And I'm like, well, okay. So we start to like give ourselves a little bit of a facial. At that point, I'm like, I gotta get out of this bathtub because, you know, when you have birth in a bathtub, it's kind of like a red pool. So my midwife, you know, helps me out of the bathtub. Miraculously, I like walk upstairs to the next bathtub because I just really want to take like a clean bath now. Get into the bathtub and the water is cold. I mean, it's like glacier cold, like Arctic cold, like super cold because I used all the hot water, you know, grabbing for the babe downstairs. I'm in the bathtub nursing this new baby born love nugget right, you know, above the glacier line. My 20-month-old walks in, takes one look, strips off all of his clothes, and gets into the Arctic water with me and starts to nurse. My oldest son gets in and just like sits down and is just like, oh my God, Mommy, he's so cute. He's so cute. Mama, he's so cute. And I like open my eyes and there's just these like yellow rubber duckies just like bobbing in this Arctic water. And I'm like, wow, this is a crazy, bizarre scene. And I settled into bed with my newborn baby and my 2 other sons. And my mom rolls in. My 2 lovely women came in and just surrounded me with a candlelit room, fed me glorious food. The house just permeating with these lovely, sweet, yummy muffins, and it was just bliss for 4 days. That's the birthing story of Osmond.